Coach Uger, if you want to start with the opening statement, we'll do questions after that.
Ohio played great on senior night, and they played better than we did, and they won the game.
What was the? Is it just simply a team playing at home as opposed to playing on the road? They look like a completely different offensive club tonight than that first meeting with your club. What, in your impression, is the biggest difference between those two meetings?
We weren't able to defend, and that's the biggest difference. We were able to defend at home and came in here, and you know, we thought it was going to be the same way as it was at home, and they showed us differently.
Offensively, you guys couldn't get anything going outside the paint. Wiggins was really good, but the struggles you guys had from the arc, has that been typical, atypical? Have you been good when you make some of those shots? And
when we defend, we play really well on offense. When we don't defend, we play like this on offense.
What was the game plan coming in with Coke? And the thing we're seeing in the league nowadays is, do you play two bigs? Do you play four smalls? You're a team that plays more two bigs. Did you guys feel like you were winning that matchup, or not on the winning side of that matchup? Did you dictate to them as much as you wanted to, or was it the other way?
We didn't dictate to them at all because we didn't defend. So if we don't defend and they're able to do what they can on the offensive end and able to drive us and shot fakes and everything else that they want, your bigs don't work. They're not as effective, so you have to change. You have to make a change on that. If we were able to take advantage of offensive rebounds and putbacks, then we'll play them more, and that's how it goes.
In the first matchup, Doug Taylor had one shot. Today it was 7 of 10. How much did that change at all your defensive game plan or strategy?
What do you mean?
Like, how much did the establishing Doug Taylor affect your guys'?
Oh, if you don't defend, Doug Taylor gets 14 points. So we didn't defend. Doug Taylor has 14 points, if I'm correct. So that's what happens when you don't defend. Doug Taylor gets 14 points. How many points does he average? 6? 6. He gets 14 when you don't defend. Next question.
You guys need one win to clinch a home game in the tournament. Does that matter at this point? You just want to see that defense come around?
I want to see our defense play much better, and that's it. Doesn't matter where we play. If we don't defend, we're going to lose at home and we're going to lose on the road. So none of it matters.
Good. All right. Thank you guys.
Y'all just sitting here, huh? Y'all ain't ask no questions. Come on. Play the game.
Thanks. Thank you.
Come in? No? Good?
Yeah, come on in. Hey, come on.
Yes.
Just don't make no noise.
Sorry.
Slamming doors on people now?
I did. All right, we got Mike and Doug, and we'll take questions.
Hey, Mike, you've had a terrific year. Did you have that in your back pocket all along? Season high 7 or career high 7 assists. Where did that come from?
I mean, I've always considered myself as a good passer. I mean, I see the floor pretty well. It just really clicked tonight, honestly.
Is that kind of an indication how you guys have been playing offensively the last 3 weeks now?
Yeah, the past 3 weeks we've been moving the ball a lot better than what we have some games. I mean, some games we have like 1 or 0 pass possessions, and that's pretty easy to defend. But if you're moving the ball pretty well, then that's much harder to defend, especially when it's us on the floor.
When Doug linked up, with about 2 minutes left to go, you had 2 guys on you. I know you got a long arm, but I'm just not quite sure you got that through there. So what were you seeing? How did you get that through to Doug?
I mean, it's just really angles for real and just spacing and a lot of different stuff.
Did you know Doug was coming down the lane the entire time?
Oh yeah, Doug. Yeah. He's gonna roll every time. So I kind of survey my options. Like I look around as I'm driving and find them for the pass.
Doug, your production's been up. Has that been another reflection of this team doing more to find the open guy or to make the extra pass?
Yeah, of course. When you move the ball a lot, somebody's eventually going to be open. And with me being down in the paint, it's easier for me to get more touches if we have a lot of dribble penetration just because of the activity of the big man. So I can just easily just stack up on a couple points and let him stack up on assists while he's just getting simple drives.
Yeah, I don't know how you felt, but you've had a lot of those draw and dish dunk plays here the last few games. What's that like? Because you usually have to work so hard to get everything inside, and you've had some easy ones of late, and I wonder what that's like from your perspective, too.
It's always good to get a couple of easy ones going. It gets you in a good rhythm. It gets you some confidence going and brings your energy up for defense. So it's a good feel.
Mike, it might sound almost a little cliche, but has it actually hit you yet that you just played your last game in Congo?
What is that?
You just played your last game in the Congo tonight. What's it feel like? Has it really hit you?
I mean, it's a great feeling. I mean, it's my last game, my last regular season game in the Congo. It's just always good to just come out of there with a win. I mean, we went out there, we played hard, so the team, we just earned a win tonight.
Did you guys have a cutoff, or like what we're up at this much with this amount of time left? That is what puts in Sam and Antonio and those guys.
Yeah, once it gets to a certain point where you just know that they're not going to come back, then for Sauce, I mean, it's a good time to make subs so you can get me out the game and Kevin out the game, so you can kind of get that standing ovation. And then you got Sam and you got AB coming in the game, and they get a chance to go out there and play on their senior night too.
What do you tell them right before they go out on the floor? Is there anything you say, or
What?
when they get the ball in their hands, do you tell them
Shoot,
anything?
shoot, score, do something good. I don't care.
When you're shooting those free throws to go up 20 with less than 2 minutes left, does that cross your mind at all?
What?
Trying to help get you guys on the floor.
Oh yeah, I told Sam at the end of the game, like I did everything I could to get you out there on the floor and make sure you get a chance to play on senior night. I mean,
What did he say to you when you guys embraced as he came in, you came out?
we just know it's all love. I mean, we've been here for 4 years. We've been through a lot. Like, it's just all love, honestly.
Doug, do you guys feel more pressure on the senior night, the guys who aren't last game or last year guys?
No, more like not pressure, just more like ensuring that we have to get the job done just because we love our teammates, and it wouldn't be fair to send them out with an L. You know, just because we can come back next year, we should go as hard as we possibly can for the guys that can't.
I feel like maybe not an obligation, but along those kinds of lines, like responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about like moving the ball around a little bit already. This is the 4th game in a row. You guys have had at least 5 guys in double figures. What's the benefit of that now coming up to tournament time where you can move the ball to a bunch of different people and know that there's different guys that have that capability of scoring?
With our offense, it's really hard to adjust to what we do just because it's mostly motion, and you really can't like plan for our offense, especially when it's going to do fruition like it did tonight. So to have that rhythm going into the tournament is a great thing.
Off that though, I think there was a stretch where you guys had like 2 points in almost 7 minutes. Was that just kind of your sort of reverting against that and some things that have happened before this year where maybe the ball gets stuck a little bit? I think it was like in the middle of the second half there.
I think we got a little turnover happy. I had 2 idiotic turnovers in the second half, and a couple other guys had a couple in that little stretch. So we should just make the simple pass and just stick to our plan.
You mentioned turnovers. You guys forced Bowling Green into 18. What was the secret behind that?
Just staying solid for real.
Stay
just
solid.
Be in the right spot, have your hands up, and
we knew
be able to
that
play
we
deep.
knew coming in that they weren't like accustomed to pressure. Everybody would play off them and like play the field on screen and roll. We decided that we're not going to let them choose what to do. We're going to just make them make the decision that we give them, and it usually resulted in either a turnover or a terrible pass that messed the rhythm of the offense up.
What was your reaction to Mike slinging the ball around tonight with the 7 assists finding all the open teammates?
He was doing that in practice the other day, so it wasn't really nothing new for me. But it was always just good to see everybody get involved and everybody smiling and happy. So it's just a great feeling tonight.
You guys have one regular season game left. How much time over these next couple days are you going to spend dedicated to kind of standings watching, looking at who you might play in the first round of the tournament?
None, just because we're going to have to play somebody regardless. So I think we'll prepare for them when we figure out who we have to play. So we're just focusing on this next game and getting the W for the next game and next day, next team. It don't matter. We have to play. So,
Like you said earlier this week that you weren't going to think too much about it, didn't want to give in the sentimentality. Did you have to fight through any of that stuff early tonight? Last game, did you get weepy-eyed at all, that kind of thing?
Honestly, a little bit, but it kind of went away once tip-off happened because it was just time to get to business at that point. We just got to do what we got to do to come away with the win.
Does any of that come back though once there's a minute, 19 left, and your name's announced, you're coming out of the game? Obviously, the crowd gives a big ovation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty deep moment. I mean, it was it got to me a little bit. I'll say that, but at the same time though, we still got a game on Friday, and we just gotta stay focused.
Did it mean something to you to have Sam be the guy to check you out?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was good seeing Sam and AB get in the game. I mean, they don't really get to play a lot, so and if it was a closer game now, you probably wouldn't have got to see that. But just us having a good, comfortable lead at the end just allowed them to be able to check in on their senior night too.
Sam and AB were great leaders, so it's always good to see like good things happen to good guys, So I was really like smiling ear to ear just seeing the guys get in the game, just telling them if they got the ball at half court, just throw it up. It really doesn't matter. So I just wanted to see good things happen to good people.
You guys going to give AB any crap for missing that layup?
No.
He's gonna give himself a
he's giving himself a lot of like flack about how he missed that that freebie layup. So we're gonna back off on him a little bit.
Mike, what's the lasting memory that you're going to take away from the combo?
You said what's what?
What's your lasting memory of your last game in the combo?
Just being able to finish strong. I mean, being able to just lead my team to victory and just being able to hold Bowling Green to 59 points for a whole game, and we got 75 points, and that means lava cakes in the combo. So.
Anything else? Alrighty, thanks guys.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Fan club in there. I like it.
I can't believe they weren't in here for us.
I don't want to say Mike left it all out there, but
Chair.
who are you? Hey, did anybody see the academic advisor from Last Chance U out there?
I heard she was here.
Last Chance U is, if you haven't seen it,
Yeah, that's great.
it will suck you in a hurry. I don't think you guys want to hear me talk about my opinions on Last Chance U, so I'll stop. The stat line that really jumps out at me tonight is Mike Laster's 7 assists and 1 turnover. The passing really hasn't been his forte since he's been here, but he has been one of the most unselfish players I've ever been around, and he goes out helping his teammates win a game. That's it's pretty neat. The other subplot here is, hey, we've won 3 of 4. We're playing some of our best basketball this season at a good time, and our confidence is high right now. Offensively, we've come an awful long ways, and I'm pleased and happy with our group right now. Defensively, you hold a team to 3 for 20 shooting from 3. That's going to win you some games. We had a 7 3-point made advantage, and that served us well on a night where it was a little tougher getting the line. Questions?
So, did you have a cutoff in your head for when, okay, if we're playing this much with this much time left, now I'll put in Sam and maybe?
No, my goal was basically to mess with those 2 for as long as I possibly could and then let them go in. That was, when he made the 2 free throws, I knew I was going to put them in. I told them to go in, and they were slow to get up. Otherwise, I would have gotten in on the free throw before, and I wouldn't have had to take the time out. But I was probably messing around with them so much they didn't get a clear idea of what my intentions were.
I saw you squatted in front of Sam and Antonio. What were you telling them in those final few minutes?
Sam was lobbying to get into the game immediately, and I knew he would, so that's why I sat there. I was just messing with him. I mean, that's all it was at that point.
It's kind of fitting. This is the team you had 19 points in the half, 50 in the game against the first time through. Since that point, you've been averaging 84.5 points. Is it simply just the ball movement, the sharing of the ball? Has there been?
It's our assist numbers. We had 3 assists against these guys the first time, and we had 20 tonight. And that is a direct result of the reversal of the ball, of the hard cuts. But you can't make people understand what you're trying to do overnight. If it were, you'd just tell them to do it once and it would get done. Between having a couple freshman point guards and between having some upperclassmen that didn't play maybe this brand of basketball until this year on a lot of occasions because we were so ball screen dominant, there's been growing pains. Then you take away a top scoring option in Jason, and you start limiting our guys physically from Jordy to Mike, and they just kept working at it. And it's getting there. It's getting there quick.
With this now as the 4th game in a row, you guys have had 5 guys at least in double figures. Kind of a product of what you said of maybe not having that one go-to scorer, but what are some of the benefits of that, especially in a tournament setting where maybe someone goes hot and you have other options?
Yeah, you're not totally riding one guy's back to get hot for 4 days. You know, it could be different people. It could be a lot of people. And, you know, we had a bunch of guys in double figures. We still didn't shoot the lights out of it, but we were efficient enough to get to 75 points and missed 2 dunks and a layup. But overall, just our execution has just been so much better in the last. And I saw it coming actually before the wins, and we talk about that all the time. Where usually you can start to see trends and things start to click, but. If you got 5, 6 guys in double figures, that means your team is becoming more and more unselfish and understanding that it's easier if we all push together.
I think you guys handled the last game of the regular season knowing you're going to be on the road that next Monday anyway.
Are you sure of that?
Yeah.
Why? Bowling Green, we'd be tied with them if we won, right?
Yeah, but if you go down the standings, the only team.
Stop. Here's what it goes.
Huh?
It's head-to-head.
Yeah.
And then it's record against division.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Record against division is only used if you're trying to determine a division.
You don't know. Don't rain on my parade. I'm holding to it.
I'm just saying.
You work for the back office?
No, I do not.
There you go. I'm going to live in my little candy world tonight, and then we'll figure it out. You know what?
But either way, if it's a long shot, let's say you're right. I don't think you are, but let's say you are. It's a long shot that you'll be playing at home on Monday. How do you handle this potential weekend knowing that you're going to have 2 road games, a couple days apart?
How do I know you're a reporter?
I don't know. You got to take my word for it.
Okay. Check his credentials. That we're taking tomorrow off. That's one way. We've got to lighten our load as much as we can here. We are going to go down to Miami, and regardless of where we go next, even if it would be at Miami, which is a possibility, we're coming back home after that. I don't think it's healthy to potentially keep kids away from campus for 10 days. So we'll come back here. Wherever we have to go, we'll go. We could leave right here from Athens, for example. I honestly, I'm not positive on it, so you're probably right. That's your world. But from wherever we play, we would go directly to Cleveland, if that were the case.
I meant more mentally, because there's only so many spots you can move up going into this last regular season.
Oh, it's Miami, man.
Coach, you told us the story about Mike, the film room session where you told him maybe don't take that shot at that time. And he's like, yeah, it would have been big if it went in though. And then now tonight, on his last game here, potentially, he sets a career high for assists. So, from start to finish, just that anecdote, what does that say about his development as a player?
And as a person. Not that he alone. Listen, he comes from a great loving family, great background. So I'm not going to sit here and take all the credit for molding him into this tremendous human being. He was a tremendous human being when he got here, but his understanding of the game, his understanding of everything, and again, the obvious fact that makes me believe that he cares as much or maybe a little bit more than everyone else is that he's playing on a bum shoulder, has been all year, and the guy's still figuring out a way to put out career numbers. Dude's playing with one arm.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
What did you guys do defensively to force him into 18 turnovers?
TK set the tone on the first possession where he hopped up a little bit. Their point guard's a little banged up right now, and they've got a really good 2-guard playing the point. But that's not the same as having a point guard. It just isn't, regardless of how you. And TK, I thought early on we hopped them enough that they got out of sorts. The other thing we did is made the conscious decision not to double Wiggins, which hurt us with Wiggins, but I've seen them have their guards get off too many times with Wiggins passing the ball around, and Wiggins is a tremendous player, but we kind of picked our poison there, and again, it's a little easier to do that when you know you're hitting threes at a pretty good clip, trading threes for twos. But overall, I mean, we held them to 39% shooting and 3 for 20 from 3. I don't know how many possessions were in the game, but they were.
I think it was mid-70s.
Yeah, so we held them. At one point, we had them midway through the first half at 0.5 points per possession, and there's literally no way you're going to lose at that clip unless you decide not to shoot.
Is that the most uplifting thing you saw tonight? You gave up 108 your last time out tonight. You hold the team to 59.
We've had a couple like that this year where against Akron we scored more in the first half than we did the entire night before. It's been one of those years, but yeah, we had a pretty scathing film session after Buffalo. You don't give up 108 points and tell them everything's going to be okay. At the same time, I also pointed out to them that offensively they're continuing to grow, and you went into a hostile environment and you're over 1 point per possession. And but defensively, our guys were embarrassed. I didn't even have to say that much. Show me what you see here, and it was a long one. But if you can look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and level with yourself and say, I've got to be better at this, you're going to come out the other side better as a player and as a person.
The offense obviously has been a lot better in recent weeks. There's a little stretch tonight. I think it was like 7 minutes or something. You guys had 2 points.
We had 4 out of 5 turnovers in that stretch. Gavin had a couple. We had a couple forces. We got a little dribble happy. One of the mismatches that we thought we had was we had to guard Cook, but Cook had to guard one of our guards coming off screens, and he was on James for a chunk of the night, and there was a point where James got dribble happy rather than making him run off screens, and that stagnated us a little bit. Combine that with some turnovers, and we had that stretch that, again, we had a lot of opportunities to maybe blow it open a little bit, and it seems like we were always able to manage to keep them hanging around a little bit, so it wasn't as comfortable until super late.
What's it feel like for you personally to know that Mike Laster got a win in this last game in this book?
I'd like him to keep getting wins. It means a lot. He's had and not only him, but I mean, Frere. I mean, for gosh sake, the guy's been there to do anything for us whenever we've wanted. Even the last couple days, doing a little extra duty with Vanderplas on the other end. He's just been Antonio's. All he's done is work and take elbows from Doug, and one time I thought he got his whole teeth, all of his teeth knocked out by Doug on an elbow. Back the next day, not complaining. And then Kevin, who really ingrained himself so quickly to this program, and it seemed like he was around a lot longer than the 9 months or so that he is.
You mentioned that after tonight was going to be the first time that you really started to check the standings. How much time do you dedicate to that?
Obviously, I checked a little because I got into a mental joust with Arkley over the.
And everyone lost.
And then that's why I don't look at it too close. I'm not smart enough to do the calculations. I think what I'll do is I'll just have our intrepid SID call the league office and say, what has to happen now? Where are we at? Like to win another game. That's it.
Anything else?
Eric had 14 points tonight. In the past 3 games, he combined for 32. In the 3 games before that, he combined for just 4. What happened to make him grow his offense?
He's been the beneficiary of our increased passing. He gets a lot of dump downs now, and some of that is his teammates setting him up with good penetration off closeouts, off that kind of stuff. But the subtle thing that he's doing better is that he's not catching the ball at that awkward 7-foot distance like he has been prone to do. He's parking himself right there at the front of the rim, so when he catches, he can make a move with it right away. But if you get production out of him on the offensive end, defensively, he's always making an impact that makes him a complete player.
You've talked about the walk-ons and Kevin, but Mike was your first recruit here, and he seemed to deliver on anything a first recruit can do for a program. Could you just touch on that real quick?
Yeah. In terms of showing just constant commitment to this program, a perfect example of a guy that, when things aren't necessarily going perfect for him, was still willing to put the team first. And boy, it usually comes back well for guys like that. It really does. His development as a player was marked, and that's what I've always tried to do with my program, is get kids better from freshman to senior year. And so to have the first guy that you take that journey, and to make that's why you do what you do. It's fun.
Anything else? All right. It should be noted, tonight was career win number 200 for South Phillips.
Was it?
Good. You got any thoughts about that?
No, none. Not one thought.